Hey everyone! Recently, me and the Juices Loose crew, the podcast I'm on, we've been having this kind of debate whether title screens in video games are necessary. Half of us were like, I don't want to waste my time on this garbage, I have 5 kids to feed, I have a job, I have to cook, I have to clean, I don't have time to sit through 30 seconds of a video game. And some of us were like, but title screens are art. They are an integral part of the gaming experiences. I feel a title screen sets a very specific mood for the game you're about to play. Now, not all title screens are good, but they're still, I feel, a necessity. I feel it's something you should sit through before you start the game. I do not think they're a waste of time. Even more so, I don't think they should be a waste of time. I feel title screens are important and they should be treated as the overall, part of the overall experience in video games. And today, I'm gonna share with you some of my favorite title screens. And maybe this will kind of evoke some kind of sentiment within you, and that maybe next time when you start up a video game, you might actually take the time to appreciate everything about it. Let's first get one thing out of the way. We're talking title screens. The screen that shows you the title of the video game. We're not talking about the intro cinematics, we're not talking about loading screens, we're not talking about the trailers in front of... No, we're talking about the screen that shows you the title of the video game. In my opinion, there's 3 types of title screens. We have the standard title screen that shows you the video game with maybe a static or animated background and some music usually. There are that's how I call them. I'm going to coin this phrase here. We have progressive title screens where the title screen actually progresses together with your story progression of the game. And more rare, but actually often overlooked, interactive title screens, where you actually play on the title screen of the game. And we're gonna get in some of my favorites. It's gonna be a nice video, so just sit back and enjoy art. A huge part for me in a title screen, the thing I look forward to the most, is great music. This first category we're going to dive into right now, like I said, is static title screens with either a static background or like an animated background. Now, the worst type of title screens for me is a flat image. Breath of the Wild does this. I was so disappointed in this title screen. Vigilante 8 on the N64 always comes to mind. It's cheap. I don't like this. I want the title screen to be awesome, to get me jack shot like you're loading a gun, bam, into the video game. The title screen should be good for me, and those are not. And a really good example of a title screen is Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U or the port on the Switch. I like how you just see always the same background, the same area, but it can actually change with like the season, for example, and the music kicks in, the 3D world music. Like I like, my favorite one is when it rains. It's like, all right, you're getting ready to play an incredible platform with the way it's set up, and I always really enjoyed that title screen. Professor Layton. Professor Layton is one of my favorite franchises, and one thing that sets it apart from a lot of other games is already the extremely beautiful soundtrack. And I'm gonna take an example here of Pandora's Box, the very first one. And was Curious Village the first one? Was Pandora's Box the second one? Either way, I'm gonna take Pandora's Box as an example. So most Professor Layton title screens have a moving vehicle, either a train or a car, and it's just moving around, preparing you for like the journey you're about to embark on. And it always has this incredible music, this sad, melancholic, pumpy music that gets you ready for the game. And Professor Layton just has some of the greatest title screens when it comes to it. It's very simple, very basic, it's animated, but when that music kicks in, a very simple one, but I always loved the graphics of the clouds in this one. Skies of Arcadia Legends on the GameCube. It's without a doubt it's one of my favorite games. It is not top 3 favorite games, but it is without a doubt one of the top 3 greatest adventures you will live in gaming ever, period. I consider Wind Waker to be one of these, Skies of Arcadia is another one. The things you experience in this game are incredible. The story is massive, and this title screen with the clouds, the time passing on the clouds, the really soft music settling in, it's just a beautiful title screen. Talking about beautiful title screens that perfectly set the mood, how could I not mention one of the greatest ones ever? Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time has one of the most beautiful title screens ever. It starts off with just Link and Epona running over Hyrule Field, drinking water, all that stuff, and then at some point a really cool effect flames in the Ocarina of Time logo. I love it. It's an absolutely beautiful state-of-the-art title screen, and I can never imagine starting Ocarina of Time without experiencing that title screen. A very quick one, a very simple one, is Killer Instinct, the original Killer Instinct on the Super Nintendo. It is one of my favorite video games ever. The way you could do combos, it was absolutely brutal. But Killer Instinct was one of the first fighting games to me that had an incredible metal-like soundtrack. And that title screen, when the music kicks in and then the logo of Killer Instinct appears with that voiceover, like Killer Instinct it's a fucking shit. It gets me so pumping to start kicking some ass in Killer Instinct. It's an incredible title screen. One of the more simple ones on this list is the title screen from Eternal Darkness. It has, from what I remember, a very background atmospheric type sound. Very simple, nothing intricate, with the space, the planetary alignments with the rocks, and it just screams beauty to me. It's a beautiful title screen and I love the image. It's the same image that is on the cover of the game. And I can't imagine starting this game and not seeing that image with how far the story of this game goes, how deep it goes. The Battle of Olympus is one of my favorite NES games, and I always remember this title screen with the music that builds up, the temple appearing in the background. It's incredible pixel art. It's one of the more beautiful looking pixel art title screens on the original NES, I feel. And then like the Bell of Olympus appears and you're just staring at this with this gorgeous melancholic poetic music in the background with the stars, and it just screams mythology. It really does. It's a very effective title screen for me. And the last one in this category, without a doubt, one of the top 3 greatest title screens ever made. The music is absolute perfection. It sets up this weird intro with this organic, the life form stuff, and it really sets the tone of the incredible space journey you're about, the mystery you're about to uncover, which goes so deep into the genetics and everything it does. Is the title screen of Metroid Prime 1. Now we're going to probably one of my favorite categories, progressive title screens. Again, I'm coining that phrase. I don't know if it's already a thing, I'm making it a thing. There are actually more games than you realize where the title screen evolves as you play the game. One that I like that is a more simple version of this, it's kind of bridges the gap between standard title screens and this one, the progressive ones, is Hollow Knight. Every update Hollow Knight did, they changed the background animation of the title screen, be it the Gods one, the Dreamnail one was another one, they had the Grim Troop one was one of my favorites, and it's a very simple animation with always that super dark, sad, melancholic music. Without a doubt, one of the greatest title screens that perfectly encapsulated the mood of the video game you were about to play. Another game that uses a progressive title screen, from what I remember, was Yoshi's Island. Super Mario World 2 on the Super Nintendo, one of my favorite video games of all time. This game has like a really cool story that it sets up, but like I said, it doesn't really count. You're not allowed to use the intro of the video game. But the intro has like really cool music, very sad, and then the music stops and the island appears, rotating around. And you hear nothing but the sea and the birds and the water clashing on the rocks and everything, and the whole island is rotating. It's beautiful. And from what I remember, the castles that are there in the background, they actually update as you progress into the game. I think either by completing a level 100%, by beating them, something like that. But it's just I couldn't believe back then on the Super Nintendo that such 3D-like graphics existed with your rotating island. Another great example is Xenoblade. In this example I'm going to use Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because it is by far the best Xenoblade game and one of the greatest RPGs ever made. Depending on where you are in the story, the background actually changes to the location you're at. It's a very simple and effective gimmick. One of my favorite progressive title screens, I love this title screen so much, is the title screen of Days Gone. The game is black when it boots up and then the music starts playing, the title screen appears, you have your bike in the background. The bike is the bike you have customized in the game. The changes you make in the game is what the bike is on the title screen, and the location you saved at last is a location in the background. But it doesn't look like it was fixed, it looks like the title screen no matter what your title screen looks like. It looks like that is the default title screen. That's how well they integrated that, and that Days Gone soundtrack is absolutely perfect. It's one of the most beautiful soundtracks. I love the Days Gone theme. It is absolutely incredible and it really sets the tone for the story you're about to dive back into. A title screen most people wouldn't even really think of when I think of title screens, especially progressive ones, and I love this one, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Animal Crossing New Horizons, you're living on an island, villagers move in, you customize the cliffs, the rivers the way you want to, and every time you boot up the game, it is going to be your island at its current state. The camera will follow a random of your villagers walking around with the Animal Crossing logo, the Animal Crossing music in the background, and the villager walks over the island you created, and it is a villager you have invited on the island. It is one of the most personalized title screens in gaming, and it just, it's like, welcome back to your island. one of the more rare types, the third category is interactive title screens. And I'm not necessarily talking about a title screen where you're playing a game, you know, you have the intro of the game, you're playing the game for a while, and after a few minutes, like, the title of the game appears. I love it when games do that. I don't really consider that a title screen. I'm talking about the title screen that welcomes you after you boot up the game. And one really cool example of an interactive title screen is Kero Blaster. I like Kero Blaster. It's an indie game. It's a lot of fun. It's a shooter. It's simple. It's short. It can be really hard. It has a ton of secrets. And you play a frog who works in like an office, and he's on cleanup duty, cleaning up like the stuff. I forgot what they will call it. They clean up like the shit that's invading the world. But every time you boot up the game, you start at the title screen, but the title screen itself is infested, and you can't start the game. You literally can't start the game until you clean up the enemies, the mess on the title screen. It's very simple. There's a few ways. You clean them up. After you clean them up, the title screen just boots up. You can answer the phone and start the game. And I love that title screen so much. One of my favorite title screens. And of course, one of my all-time favorite title screens, one of the most atmospheric title screens, one of the most atmospheric indie games ever. I love this game so much. It's not for everyone. It's a very calm game. There's hardly any enemies. There's a lot of mysteries and riddles and gimmicks to how these riddles work. But I just love this game. It has an incredible soundtrack, and that's Knet Underground. And I love the title screen of Knet. When you boot up the game, it's really calm. You hear the wind, you walk around with the character, you see the logo appear, and then you just walk around to your save slot. And I just love this so much. I love that game, and there aren't a lot of opportunities to talk about it, but this was definitely one of them I didn't want to miss, and I could not include Knet Underground. And there you have it. Video game title screens to me are an integral part of gaming, as I stated before. They prepare you for the journey you're about to embark on. They set the tone for the video game. I feel title screens in video games matter. They're important. And I don't like when people like, I want to use quick resume to just right go back. I want to hit the controller button and instantly be doing my fatality in Mortal Kombat. Or like, I want to just hit the game and I just want to start up and instantly be in the Forest Temple in Ocarina of Time. I cannot imagine, like I said, booting up Ocarina of Time and not hearing that title screen. They're important. They set the tone. They're part of the art. People worked on that. And it belongs to it. It's like the opening credits in a movie. It's like a prologue in a book. These things should be experienced by everybody, in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section, please let me know some of your favorite video game title screens, and I will definitely look them up, because video game title screens are art, and art should be appreciated. It's about the whole. I watch the title screen, I revel in it, I play a game, I watch the entire credit section. I read all the names that I can depending on how fast it goes, right until the game either stops or boots itself over. It is a hole, and the title screen most of the time is something extremely beautiful that is just a waste to skip. Thank you guys for watching this video. All my links to social media on the video description. If you like this video, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot, it really does. My channel has slowly been crawling back out of the pit YouTube threw me in. Leave a comment with your favorite title screens, and as always, stay real.